welcome to Ottoman Sunset. Let's stop this nonsense. I found some problems with getting the game to start. So I'm going to try this again. This box is a bit strange to open. Let's see. I think the text should be upside down. Then you open it like so. And let's give this one more try. So what I did was organizing the tokens. Since yesterday I didn't quite understand how things worked, and I'm going to dissect it a little bit more. Now, in Ottoman Sunset, it plays like a story. Let me zoom out a little bit. It plays like a story where you go through the deck, and then stuff happens. The rulebook isn't that great. What is missing is some kind of component overview, because there are a lot of tokens and they serve various different purposes. Also, so you have this like Dunster Force, Defeat, and Despelli, and Gallipoli, Oni Evac, and Kaiserslacht, and Caucasus Provkov. I think this is just some kind of leftover set. This I figured out is how the setup, and this is a more modern approach. What you first want to do is you want to set up the game, and for setting up the game you have a separate, well, you can make a separate text box, or I say ziploc. So for blue goes to blue, and it is Townshend or Moda. It is Townshend. That's what needs to be written here. Townshend. This is for Dashkov. That's on the orange track. This is the die. This is the national will. It should go to 0. This is the British fortitude. It should go to maximum British fortitude, and it only decreases. So it starts on the start. The intelligence bureau for the east is a bit of a strange duck in the pond, and here you have Murray and Allenby. And it should be Murray on the brown track. Furthermore, there are World War I and as the same with World War II consists of several theaters. So there is the Western Theater, Naval Theater, and Eastern Theater. These start off initially, because it's 1914, they start empty, and the cards dictate how it will be filled. The Intelligence Bureau for the East is a theater for diplomatic influence, where you try to incite uprisings. For example, in start of World War One, the Western powers had several colonies. In India, for example, it was Indochina. British Empire was present here and drew a lot of resources from that colony. So it would be, if you were at war with the British, then as an axis, then you would try to make them independent, to instill uprisings, to stir up uprisings. Same for Afghanistan and Persia. These were also colonies for the Allies. So the Turkey Intelligence Bureau tries to influence these. And one of your actions would be to place a diplomatic intelligence bureau and then move your efforts to either of these areas. So this the diplomatic sphere or theater, if you want. Then there is the narrows. It's not so much of a theater, but it's more of a tactical thing. But it is something where you can, where things can happen by the cards, and there are certain developments. You can also increase the defenses, because the British try to invade via sea to Constantinople, and if Constantinople falls, then you lose the game. There is also the Gallipoli front. That's a separate theater. It enters play also via a card when Gallipoli starts. And so you have the off-map theater, the intelligence, diplomatic part, the Narrows theater, the Gallipoli theater or front. There's the Sinai front. And as you can see here, there are some flanking attacks, and the Arab part coming out from the south east tries to help the Ottomans, or is reinforcing the Ottomans. I think, I'm not really sure. Your Ottoman Empire is crumbling, and these flags of Turkey here and here and here. So this is the area that you draw your resources from. Same goes for here. If these locations fall, then you lose national will. And if national will is below 3, then you lose the game. So these, yeah, and there's also the Yildirim holding box. It enters play via a card, and then you can, these are reinforcements to hold off the advances from the Allies. So this is also the British. The British enter via land, threaten Constantinople, and via sea, Constantinople. And what else is there? Oh yeah, there is also in the top flag. So if Lake Doiran is, well, if red is triggered, so it enters play via a card, and if it advances through Lake Doiran, then you lose also national will. So you want to push back these advancing forces. I'm not sure what red stands for. I think it stands for the Greek or something, because these are Greek cities. Then there is the war weariness, enters play via a card again. The U-boats, the Turkish are apparently allied with the Germans, because the German was the main culprit for starting the World War One, and I think the Ottomans joined the Axis, so the Axis is Germany and Turkey. And if you can close the straits by having your U-boats here, then the British can no longer advance because they cannot reach Constantinople because the U-boats block it. And also later on, for leveling the playing field for the British dominance on sea, Britain rules the waves. Many U-boats were deployed, but they went a little bit overboard, so eventually America entered the war because they got a bit annoyed by those U-boats. Then, what is your player agency? Because all the time stuff happens, that's not fun. You get actions. And it makes sense. I had to go through all these cards. It's not very many cards, by the way. I had to go through all these cards, but it says here 3 actions, 2 actions, and that is your agency. So you resolve a card, then you do 1 or 2 actions depending on the card. And I'll go later over what these actions are. Okay, bye.